Hi, I'm Jude. Thank you for joining me. I'm joined with the cast of the new sold-out musical Luigi Magiglione. Just can you give us a quick summary about, for those at home who don't know, what the show's about?
So Luigi the Musical is a one-act true crime satirical stage comedy musical, which imagines what happened when Luigi Mangione got to prison. And so it was inspired by the true fact that Luigi Mangione was in the same prison at the same time as Sam Bankman-Fried, the crypto scammer, and Diddy. Um, and so the show fictionalizes what might have happened with those three men in prison together.
Wow, quite a story. How did this all come about? Because obviously, I don't know about you guys, but you have jokes with your friends and seeing these articles, but to actually maybe have that idea and grow it into this, what were the processes? What was the steps with that?
Do you want to take it, Nova? It was your idea.
Sure. So we all are friends through the San Francisco stand-up comedy community. We're all stand-up comedians. Um, and so I was separately following these three stories in the news and noticed that I wasn't seeing this reported anywhere specifically, but I saw in separate news articles the same prison kept coming up. And so I pieced together that they actually were, in fact, at the same prison at the same time. Um,
I didn't know
and
this, Nova.
yeah, that's me. Um, and so this was such a funny um, observation that I felt like I had to talk to people about it. And so I kept bringing it up with all of my friends. And that prompted a bunch of conversations. Um, because it's sort of hard to imagine these three men being in the same room other than a prison cell. They're from such different sort of spheres of society. Um, and that prompted a lot of conversation, a lot of jokes, and a lot of insightful observations in the people that I was talking to in the comedy community. And this idea was just sticky enough that we had, I guess, in a sense, completely unhinged, but on the other hand, what felt like an inevitable idea to write it into a musical.
That's crazy.
And it's not the only liberty with that like fact, aside from all the satire in the play that it's based off of, is like that Luigi was not in the same cell as Diddy and Sam Bankman-Fried were actually literally in the same cell. And like Sam Bankman-Fried, or sorry, yeah, Sam Bankman-Fried was like podcast calling Tucker Carlson at some point with like Diddy like behind him in the same cell. It's just like crazy, wild real life that's happening.
Yeah, it's something that's like so crazy that can only be imagined as like a joke, but it's our reality that we're actually living in. So how long did it take for that from that first idea to actually form into this end show that we can see today? And was there like a lot of rewrites that had to go through as like each character's story evolved throughout the news?
We wrote it in 4 hours.
Oh my God.
I'm just kidding. What
We
team?
probably spent like 2 months in earnest working on the script itself because we met every Sunday for 4 hours for about I think 2 months is what my memory is, and we at that point had a full script. But I do want to say that like purely based on how lucky we got with the talent that we recruited to perform in the show. We have been, because they're the other two cast members who are not on the writing team, Johnny Stein and Janae Lucas, are such talented and impressive performers and so brilliant as they perform on stage that they also have transformed the script entirely as they have continued to do different read throughs of it. And that was true from the moment they each stepped foot in our like rehearsal space. They were changing the lines to match their kind of character work, which I thought was incredibly impressive. And we're very, very lucky that they brought their brilliance to the project. And then is continues to be true as we perform every night because unlike a lot of musical theater pieces, we are all by trade, not trade, well, by moonlight trade, stand-up comedians who are like kind of adept at working with what is in the space and what is in the room. And so every night our show is just a little bit different because of how skillful the performers are on stage at incorporating what's happening in the actual theater and then also what's happening in the news. And so all of this, we really think of this as like a living and breathing project because of how much we're willing to kind of interrogate what's happening in our lives.
Yeah, Andre's very humble, but I want to brag on them as one of the performers. Like one of my favorite moments recently, because I'm backstage during this part, but Andre made this. There's this line that already existed, like, I'm a real patriot now. And then Andre goes, just like Sydney Sweeney, like the other week. Yeah, which is like now a line that will exist in the play, like continuously. And I just get the experience to like enjoy and laugh at like things that the cast is throwing in like every week and improvising on the spot. Like they're also so good at like Andre had this really great moment where in our new venue we had some older mics that were like malfunctioning at some point. And our heroic stage manager was technical director Christopher Beale was like frantically trying to troubleshoot them the entire show. But Andre just made a joke about like, the mics in this prison really suck or something like that. And the audience like loved it. So they're especially adept at that. The other person I want to call out as like a heroically important person on this project that really probably overworked themselves at the beginning, especially was Ariel Johnson. She's the musical director and one of the co-writers as well. So she wrote all of the music along with the lyrics with Nova for the play. And so she busted out all of these songs in a very quick amount of time, and people are like already asking for the cast album. Like they're singing them to us on the street. Like they're just so catchy, so clever. People are coming up and saying the lyrics are like deeply meaningful or really hilarious to them. So she's an incredible talent that we were very lucky to work with.
Yeah, definitely. So you're talking about that, and I've just seen as well, you've got more dates that have been added. It's sold out. You've upgraded to a bigger venue in San Francisco. How does all this like success impact you guys as the cast as well?
It's really going to my head.
Yeah.
Truly.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that we have had so much support from San Francisco. And so when we first, we're a independent theater production. And so we don't have a huge amount of institutional. So in fact, we don't have any institutional support. Like everything we have done has been sort of, has been something that we have scraped together. And so when we first started rehearsing, we were doing it in a dental studio, Sage Dental in the Castro in San Francisco, because partly because we had no money for a rehearsal space, we had no theater, and also because it's operated by a friend, and
we love dentists.
And we love dental care. And so that has sort of continued throughout this whole production, is that, like the city of San Francisco and our local communities have been so supportive in terms of connecting us to resources, helping us get in front of audiences. The audiences have been so generous and fantastic. So I feel very, very grateful to be in a city with such a supportive community who is so excited to see this kind of original independent theater. And so everything that we're going to do in the future, including Edinburgh Fringe and everything else, is because of San Francisco.
Yeah, definitely. Do you guys think that there's a certain reason why people connect to these three characters, or why it's so funny and why there's such a draw to go and see them? Or do you just think it is because of, as we talked about earlier, the unlikelihood of these all of these three gentlemen being in the same cell?
Is it okay if I say something too?
Yeah.
I think like one thing that I've heard Andre at least say a good amount is like the art shapes itself or something along that lines, Andre. And I think like through the writing process, we didn't intend it this way, but like what came out is that these three people represent like the big like institutions in at least American society of like Hollywood tech and or Hollywood tech and healthcare. And so like while a lot of people have said like, wow, you wrote it so fast, we've existed in those spheres our entire life, right? And I think a lot of them have huge outside influence, especially Hollywood and tech in the international world. And then everybody knows the craziness of the United States healthcare system too, and that the fact that we're like one of the only developed, I think we're the only, and I don't like that word, we're the only like Western country that doesn't really have universal healthcare, as far as I know.
Mhm. Yeah. So we spoke about the Fringe earlier. How are you feeling about performing at the Fringe, and what does it mean for you guys to go to Edinburgh and perform at this event?
I'm so excited. I think that we're all so excited. I mean, so this is the first time that the show is going to be seen outside of San Francisco.
And
And
we
so
went international.
to some extent, it's a big experiment, right? Like we don't know exactly how an international audience is going to respond to it. But as Andre said earlier, this entire production has been, like we treat the script as a hypothesis. And then we see how audiences respond to it because that's how stand-up comedians, work on material. And so I'm very grateful for the audience in Eddie that's going to make themselves available as test subjects for this musical. Um, and yeah, we're really excited. I think it's going to be a really good time. We encourage anyone who's interested to please come out and buy a ticket and come meet us.
And you can get our tickets on the Fringe site or luigithemusical.info. We have them all linked there too.
I'll also add, I think that like we are as we were talking earlier about like how San Francisco has informed our project in terms of like relying on our network of artists and friends, and like we wouldn't have met if it wasn't for like this pillar of stand-up comedy in San Francisco named Wonder Dave and his partner Jonah, who run this mic that we all met at. And we're so I think every person on the team is so deeply invested in supporting one another and supporting our art both as this project and the idea of like being able to put on art and perform, that as stressful as it may seem for us to be like moving this performance from our home's theater in San Francisco to this kind of on the fly venue and very far away from home, I am so excited to be in a space with so many artists and to be able to see so many artists perform and share their art. And because our whole team is so like invested in kind of how beautiful it is to like create things out of nothing. And I think it's going to be an amazing opportunity for all of us to like interact with some of the most creative and wacky writers and performers in the world, and that's a really, really important and meaningful experience for all of us.
Yeah, definitely. I know you spoke about a wee bit earlier there, Nova, about coming in. You're not too sure how it's going to do with like international audiences. Do you have any like kind of estimations, or what are you kind of hoping for Scottish audiences when they come and see this show? Do you think that they'll connect and laugh with it and really grab it with both hands?
I think they're going to love it. I do think that sort of the issues that we're tackling, including difficulties with healthcare, some of the corruption around tech and finance, and then the whole like circus around the entertainment and media, are very resonant themes for people across the world. This is partly because these American institutions have such a large footprint globally, but partly because every country sort of has their own manifestation of these problems. And so I think that they're definitely, the themes are definitely going to resonate with Scottish audiences. And also, I expect that we're going to make some adjustments over the course of our run in Eddie, as we sort of learn about what does and does not resonate with the audiences here. So thank you in advance for your generosity, is what I would say to those audiences.
I'm sure that knowing Scottish humour, I'm sure that everyone that will come and see that will love it. And just lastly, where can people come and see you at the Fringe? And I know you mentioned earlier about where to get tickets. Is that what was the link for that again? Sorry.
LuigiTheMusical.info. And then it's going to be at Just the Tonics in the Legends room. So yeah,
Wait, I thought we were in the club room.
It's Just the Tonic Legends venue in the club room. Thank you, Andre.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
Thank
there's
you.
a lot of like modifiers on that.
Sorry, I just got nervous that I somehow was spreading misinformation. But
No problem. Thank you so much for sitting down with me. And I, for one, genuinely cannot wait to come and see it. I've got tickets to go see it.
Yeah.
I'll see you there. I'm really excited to see it. I've heard so many great things, and speaking to you guys, I can just really feel the enthusiasm, and I'm excited to see that enthusiasm on stage. So thank you so much, and good luck and break a leg with the Fringe Festival. I'm sure it'll be an absolute smash hit, guys.